What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, before I get into this video, I'd like to remind you guys that if you want to donate to my channel, you can do so in the links provided in the description box below via the PayPal or the Cash App. And I have the Patreon, and I'd like to thank everybody that has signed up to the Patreon so far. But I'd like to get more of you guys over there because the content over there, the Patreon, is a lot more honest. I'm able to talk more freely on the Patreon. And as we go through the NBA season, I'm able to really go in on a lot of these players and notable individuals who deserve to get cussed the fuck out. All right, so for $2 a month on the Patreon, if you choose to, if you want to, go ahead and sign up over the Patreon. And I'm late talking about this video. I'm late. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to talk about this for a little while, but I know this was like a story, maybe like a week or so ago about Derrick Rose, and Derrick Rose was, I guess, asked whether or not he would be a Hall of Famer, and I think he said something like he's a Hall of Famer, like to those who know him, to those who grew up with him, his peers, and saw how he has gone from where he's come from to where he is. He's a Hall of Famer in that aspect. And I agree with that 100%. But I don't think that at this point in time, Derrick Rose is a Hall of Famer. I think he might become the first league MVP not to make the Hall of Fame. I think he is going to attain that mark. I just don't think he's done enough. The only other player who was a little bit questionable, who was an MVP as far as NBA career is concerned, is Bill Walton, only because Bill Walton was not able to put together a full career. Bill Walton did lead his Portland Trail Blazers to a championship in 1977. And, of course, he won the Sixth Man of the Year award, I believe it was 1987. No, excuse me, 1986. And Boston won a championship. And, of course, he won a championship as well that year as well. But what really put Bill Walton over the top, you got to remember, it's not the NBA Hall of Fame, it's basketball. So what put him over the top was his exceptional collegiate career with UCLA, where Bill Walton arguably is like, you can make the argument he's the greatest collegiate player of all time, along with, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You got to put Elvin Hayes up there, some other greats. He arguably has, had the greatest collegiate career of all time, Bill Walton. So that is what put him in the Hall of Fame. Derrick Rose, he's the youngest MVP in NBA history. But I just don't see what he's done right now to accomplish to put him in the Hall of Fame. Okay, yeah, he's won a league MVP. He's the youngest. He did turn the Bulls culture around. Chicago Bulls fans had a glimmer of hope. You know what I'm saying? With Derrick Rose, we had become a contender again, but it was not long enough. I understand injuries are not anybody's fault. It's not his fault, but I just don't think he did enough in his career. I'm looking at what he's accomplished. Of course, okay, MVP 2010, 2011, three-time All-Star, All-NBA First Team 2011, Rookie of the Year 2008, 2009, NBA All-Rookie Team. I just look at his resume. It's just not enough. No Olympic teams. like I said, injuries are not his fault. You know what I'm saying? In some ways, if I'm Derrick Rose, man, I might feel a certain type of way toward Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau, man, because he did run a lot of those guys into the ground. He ran a lot of those dudes into the ground back then. You know what I'm saying? With minutes, and I still remember when he suffered that injury. I still remember when he suffered that injury in that playoff game, and there really was no need for him to still be out there. Um, and he's never been able to recover from that. He's just become injury prone since then, and he's had some fine seasons. He had a great season last year. I think he averaged like more than 18 points per game for the Timberwolves. Shot 48% from the floor, which is a career high for him, I believe. Shot 37% from 3-point range, which is a career high for him. Had that 50-point game. I think it was against the Utah Jazz, which is the same team that let him go. And for a little while, Derrick Rose was out of the league. So I really, I know sometimes I've been hard on Derrick Rose, man, and I kind of regret doing some of them videos. Sometimes I could be an asshole too. I got to admit that shit, man. I could be a little bit of an asshole, but I'm an asshole with a purpose. And but asshole with a purpose. Wow, where did I pull that out of my ass from? But I just don't, he doesn't have the longevity. You know, um, he doesn't have the playoff success. He doesn't have the playoff runs, the playoff moments. Let me look at some of his cumulative numbers. I mean, his per game average is great. 18.8 points, 3.5 rebounds, 5.6 assists. Those are not bad numbers. It's just that he hasn't accumulated enough. He's 546 games at age 30. If he can have a run, okay, he just, surpassed 10,000 points. What'll help Derrick Rose is if he can have a run like Grant Hill did. Well, Grant Hill finally got healthy and was able, in the second half of his career, to put together a period of time where he may not play at the same level that he played in his prime with Detroit, but he was healthy, he was productive in the role as a role player, and he was just able to produce. You know what I'm saying? And I think Grant Hill finished with like 17,000 career points or something like that. Now, Derrick Rose, at the level he's playing, he's going to be a guy that can give you, depending on what the situation is, I think he can get you between 16 and 19 points per game. If he can stay healthy and at least make it to the playoffs, I know he's with the Pistons now, and I would think that they have a team that's capable of being in the playoffs. Of course, they made the playoffs last year. Blake Griffin was hurt, which is a problem with Blake Griffin too. But if they can put together a team, a squad that can make a run for it, man, and Derrick Rose can have some of those moments. Especially to me, playoff moments are very important, man. And that to me is what kind of hurts Tracy McGrady. You know what I'm saying? Like when I see Tracy McGrady, as far as his total body career, not just those Orlando Magic and the earlier part of his Rockets career. When I look at his total career, I just don't see a Hall of Fame career. I see a close to Hall of Fame career, but I don't see a Hall of Fame career. And at least with Grant Hill, you know what I'm saying, he was very successful in Duke, and they won a national championship in 1992. So that helps. What'll help Rip Hamilton, because without it, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. But what'll help Rip Hamilton is the fact that he won a championship in 2004 with the Pistons, and he won a collegiate championship in 1999 with the Connecticut Huskies. So that will help him with his case to be in the Hall of Fame, especially if it's a weak class. That's what Derrick Rose is missing. You know what I'm saying? That's to me is what he's kind of missing, and I'm saying, and I just don't think that 3 years of dominance at the point guard position with the Chicago Bulls is enough to put you in the Hall of Fame. I just don't think it's enough. If that's the case, then you got to start putting guys like Penny Hardaway in the Hall of Fame. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're getting to the point where we're lowering the bar so much that you really can't call it the Hall of Fame anymore. It's the Hall of I don't know, what would you call it? The Hall of Fame now is called the Hall of Popularity, the Popularity Contest Hall. You know, we like you, so we're gonna put you in. This is what it's becoming now. We like you, so we're putting you in. Terrell Owens' numbers can't be matched by anybody except for maybe two players: Randy Moss and probably and not probably definitely Jerry Rice. But his numbers can't really be matched by anybody. But yet he didn't get in on his first year. There was nothing but a bias. So that's pretty much it, man. I just don't think that he's done enough, man. Some of you guys might disagree, but I just don't think he's done enough to get into the Hall. But tell me what you guys think.